Day 4, the halfway mark, and we mark it big with the biggest in the line in both size and price point. Behold, Bulkhead, the first of our Canadian and Japan-only releases in the Transformers First Edition series. We see him here represented very well in a nice shade of off-road or military green with some darker green accents around the windshield. Some very nice paint apps here on the front outlining his headlights as well as the brush guard in front. Or actually, it's just a grill, isn't it? I know the difference. Don't leave comments. You guys leave comments every time I get something even slightly wrong. You see the green trim also down here at the bottom of the doors. And right there, a little bit of silver trimming the bottom around the back. Section up atop, painted silver, as well as the taillights in red. And big exhaust pipes in the back. Oh, this guy is an off-road beast, and you can tell. He's got a rack on top, silver painted. Always glad when they add in some extra detail. And a fake window here in silver as well, just to give the illusion. So in a nutshell, yeah, it's pretty much what I'd expect Bulkhead to look like. Not quite sure how show accurate he is because I don't have a photo from the show available right now. But he does look very nice as this big, generic, so we're not copying anyone's actual vehicle off-road truck. Very hefty, very solid. I really love the details going into this thing. A lot of little ones. You got the side view mirror, or the rear view mirrors here on the side. Door handles molded in. Gas cap molded in. Strangely enough, molded in on both sides. I guess he just needs an extra tank of energon every now and then. But you got a lot of nice details going on. The wheels are unpainted, but as an off-road vehicle, I really don't mind it. Structure-wise, yeah, you can tell, especially here in the front, he is made of a lot of little panels. And in fact, a lot of panels layered over to create this front end. It's kind of a plastic lasagna, the way it all kind of just goes together and collapses. And similar to some of the others I've had, it doesn't quite come together perfectly. There are gaps between some of them here and there, and other parts that just really don't want to stay down all that well. It's not too bad though, but it is something I can imagine being a lot worse on others if the molding wasn't done quite right that day. There's other little gaps here that don't quite go together, but something about the style of the vehicle, it's not as annoying or noticeable as it is on some of the others I've reviewed so far. On the back, you've probably noticed the Disco Ball of Doom. This is his club for robot mode, and as you can see, very nicely decoed in this kind of a cast in kind of a white plastic with a black gradient and kind of a speckle across. Gives a really dirty, gritty look that I really quite dig. We can pull that off. This is just storage for vehicle mode. A little bit of black and gold right there on the top, and now looking much more like he does on the show. Because in the show, he doesn't have a gigantic metal puffer fish hanging off of his backside. So yeah, that's vehicle mode in a nutshell. I can demonstrate he rolls exceptionally well. All four wheels do touch. They all roll very smoothly. And he's a nice size for a Voyager. Well, Kokan's really not completely in shot, but you get the point. You know, he's much bigger than, say, Bumblebee was. But we're not here for good size. We're here for amazing size. Let's get to robot mode and see how amazing it gets. Now, I'm hesitant to show you the transformation for two reasons. Number one, I'm not even sure I'm doing this right. In fact, I know I'm doing some steps out of order. You don't have to correct me. However, more than that, the back kibble on him seems mistransformed right out of the box, and the instructions really don't do a good job telling you where it's supposed to go. It's actually kind of confusing the first time you do it, and I'm still not quite sure how to get it exactly right and keep it in camera at the same time. And secondly, it almost feels like spoiling a good movie because his transformation really is impressive, and it's something to see for yourself. The only reason I'm showing it is because, hands down, this is the most expensive first edition to get your hands on, and you really need to know everything about how it functions to decide whether or not its price tag is worth it to you. To put it simply, though, his transformation is amazing. In fact, I want to show you what this vehicle mode accomplishes. Here he is in vehicle mode, and here he is in robot mode. I thought I compensated enough to get them all in frame, and I still didn't. I mean, this guy goes from what was actually a normal or even smallish Voyager-sized vehicle to an absolutely huge, very bulky Voyager. It is an absolutely incredible transformation. It's one of those that I could almost believe mass shifting was real because of this guy. Again, the ever-reliable Coke can test. Don't just look at how much taller he is than the can. Look at how freaking wide he is. And I really need to go into more detail on this. Check this guy out all around. I mean, not only is he wide-statured, he's wide in the front too. He's got plenty of bulk. But even to the back, look at him. You saw during transformation, he's made up of a ton of panels. I mean, you can see through him right there. You can see how all the panels just kind of wrap around his body. But it forms this cohesive shell all the way around him. So, while he does seem rather hollow inside, he's actually pulling off a very incredible illusion here and is creating an incredibly solid, incredibly bulky robot mode. And it's an absolutely marvelous piece of engineering. Now, detail-wise, he is no slouch, though a lot of it carries over from his vehicle mode. Not a whole lot of new paint apps to speak of, really. You got the shoulders that are painted silver, so there's that. You can see the taillights more to give a little bit of variety to his vehicle. The headlights have been covered up by the doors forming his chest, and yes, you'll notice there's absolutely no cheating going on here. You can still see the windshield through his chest panels, and there are the doors that were actually on the side just a moment ago. You can see the grill, or actually a false grill. That's the one cheat he does have. Underneath it is where the real grill was, now covered up by this midsection panel. He does have some stubby little legs, but, that's accurate for him. Offset with some gold feet and white knees. Does give him just a little bit of visual variety. The hands are also molded. You'll actually see kind of a tan tint to a lot of his plastic in the arms. Same with the... Yeah, I'm going to stop doing that. Now, what really amazed me about this toy is the lengths they went through to give him the bulk that he has. These parts, spring-loaded. They did that just to give him a little bit more girth when he transforms. That's an amazing level of detail, and it's really extremely appreciated because it does a fantastic job of helping to change his size. I guess the biggest detail, of course, is the face. Once again, they've painted the eyes rather than light piped them. I've got one goofy eye that's only half painted, but he still looks okay from the right angle. It is Bulkhead, happy-go-lucky and serious when needed. A few dents in his head, little rivet marks and all that. It looks like they tried to light pipe him. I'm glad they didn't, though. So that all works out. I mean, detail-wise, I'm loving this thing. Now, as far as articulation goes, again, the big guy here knows what he's doing. Head, fully ball-jointed, though that big animated-esque chin does hinder him just a little bit on all sides. Arms, fully articulated all around. Again, he does have parts that can be shuffled around if they are in your way somehow for a pose that you desire. Biceps do have a swivel. You actually get a really nice range out of his elbow. Look at that. Beyond 90 degrees for a single elbow. Actually quite nice. And I guess, yeah, pointed out, but that's part of his transformation is the folding in wrist this time. No waist due to his transformation, but he does get universal ratcheted hips. That helps with his heavy physique to stay positioned. You got the swivel, you got a knee joint there. You actually have a double knee thanks to transformation, but you're not going to use that lower one really. Again, feet, no tilt, but they are molded to be more naturally stood. Again, he's not slouching on any front here. All the way around, this guy is very impressive. As for accessories, we have to have the disco ball of doom once again. This is as simple as folding up one of his arms, finding the peg on the bottom, and pegging it into what was the exhaust pipe. And there you have his signature clubbing mace. It's pretty simple, but it's Bulkhead. That's exactly the accessory you'd want. And really, if that's not quite enough for you, you can fold in his hands and kind of give the illusion of one of his arm guns. I mean, it's a dinky little one, but it is a barrel sticking out of his wrist of some type. It's a toy. Use your imagination. Point is, it's available. You can do it. I mean, more than any of the first edition toys, this is probably the one that impressed me the most. All the way around, this guy is really a masterpiece. You know, like I said, I almost didn't want to transform it because I really think this is a toy that deserves to be experienced. Just because that transformation is just so smooth. Well, once you know how to do it, of course. But it does such a great job of just literally blowing all the proportions of this toy out, getting that bulk just right. It really is a fantastic job. I mean, whoever designed it was definitely on their game that day. Now, as for comparison, once again, his mainline version is not released yet. Hey, this is getting harder and harder. From what I've seen of it, which means one official photo, it's not looking pretty. The mainline one does use cheats, and in my opinion, at least from the first shots we have, doesn't look all that good. Certainly not this good. This is, hands down, the most expensive first edition you could grab, just because of its size and its limited release. For me personally, my friend Dave got this for me out of Canada when it was on sale. Even then, it still ran me about $50 to get my hands on it after shipping. And you know what? I really don't have buyer's remorse over it. I mean, it is that good of a toy. Like, I can wholeheartedly recommend this one. Though, let's be fair to the mainline release. You really can't judge it based on a single picture all that much. This does look a lot better at the first glance, but more importantly, if you can save 30 or 40 or nowadays even $50 off of trying to get this version of the toy, it might be worth the sacrifices it makes. It might be worth its limitations. We just have to wait and see. But this is getting really frustrating. I mean, I really need to review one of these where I actually own the mainline version so I can make a proper comparison. You know what? I guess we'll have to do that next, won't we?